Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the host of the Experimental International Tournament in Rhythmic Gymnastics Divine Grace, Andrei Petrov. Dear friends, hello. I welcome you to the International Experimental Rhythmic Gymnastics Tournament Divine Grace. As we all know, music and plasticism come out of the rhythm, and judging the athlete's achievements, we understand how the sport is doing. And just like that, in rhythmic gymnastics, music, artistry, rhythm are important components, just like in ballet. And here, there is no surprise, because approximately 100 years ago, rhythmic gymnastics grew and developed out of the traditional ballet, and to that we have to thank the amazing dancer Isidora Duncan and her studio of musical and dance movements. Today, the tournament Divine Grace will be opened by a ballerina, prima ballerina, people's artist of the Russian Federation, prima ballerina of the Bolshoi Theater, Svetlana Zakharova. Let's welcome Svetlana with a round of applause. Dear friends, Svetlana Zakharova. Thank you very much. It was a perfect start and beginning of our second day of the experimental rhythmic gymnastics tournament Divine Grace. We have the second day of competition. Yesterday we had the hoop and ball competition. Today we have the clubs and the ribbons routines. And only the most interesting to you, our dear viewers. You can see flags, posters. You have your hands. Please rout and cheer for our today's contestants, for our athletes. Let's hear your support. Let's hear how you do it. And with the flags and your applause, it's going to be even easier to do. And also the flashlights that you have. I think you remember that I'm seldom alone at this stage to host this tournament. I'm held by acclaimed champions, Olympic champions who have several times raised to the highest levels of acclaim, and unfortunately one of them, you know how fragile is the world today and the limitations. Unfortunately, one was unable to fly to Moscow, but she still joins us today. Marina Lobach, first Soviet Olympic champion in rhythmic gymnastics. Dear friends, I'm Marina Lobach, rhythmic gymnastics Olympic champion in Seoul. Unfortunately, I won't be able to attend the tournament, and I would like to welcome all the participants of the tournament. Divine Grace tournament is a bold experiment that unites future and past of rhythmic gymnastics. I would like to wish to all the participants and contestants only victories in this challenging tournament. Thank you very much, Marina, for these words of welcome. And before we move on to the competition part of the second day, I would like to introduce to you Olympic champions, the athletes who have their names written in the history of sports in capital letters, rivals in the past, friends in the future now. Two-time world champion and two-time Europe champion Yulia Barsukova, and winner of the Summer Olympics Athens 2004, two-time absolute champion of the world and five-time champion of Europe, Alina Kabayeva. Yulia Barsukova, Alina Kabayeva. Hello and welcome. Good day to you. I'll have several questions to you to clarify, please, Yulia. Press was writing and keeps writing that you were two rivals, you were two heated rivals. Can this rivalry happen between two friends? That there is one athlete who comes to the mat and thinks that I'm going to win, I'm going to overtake her. Does it still happen like this? It's always. I was always surprised with these questions about friendships and rivalries. We were always friends with Alina. We always supported each other, of course. We're rivalries on the mat, but in life, we're friends. And how can you not be friends with Alina? Take a look at this person. She's so full of life, so kind, always responding. Thank you very much, Yulia. No, thank you, girls. Our team has had very friendly atmosphere. Even our favorite coach, Alexandrovna, always wanted to have some rivalry, but we didn't have it. It was not between us, and we understood that I go out to the mat alone. If I drop an apparatus apparatus, or if I fail at something, it's only me to blame. It's not a team sport, and we were always friends, and we now have good relationships with each other. We are friends, we stay in touch, and I'm really glad that Yulia is here with us, with me, supporting me. Thank you very much, Yulia. Thank you. So in 2004, when you dropped the hook, you didn't think that it's all her, it's all I blame her. No, first of all, we're our biggest rivals, and we need to overcome ourselves. This is the Olympic motto. If you overcome yourself, you face the tasks, everything will be nice. Thank you very much. You've also mentioned that Irina Wiener, the acclaimed coach, coached both of you, but I will never believe that it was from 9 to 6 coach, and then you just go out to your rooms and do your own things. Was there something bigger? You know, Irina Alexandrovna is the person who was always with us 24 hours a week. Thanks to this coach, I became an Olympic champion because there were victories and there were also losses. She was always close to me. I would like to thank her. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to her for today, this tournament. Divine Grace is also her commitment that we're able to do this beautiful tournament. She was raising us this way, educating us, making us fall in love with the sports. I dedicated so many years of my life to this sport, and I do really care about everything that's happening in here. So thank you very much, Irina. I say even more, Irina is still with us. She always supports us. She always helps us. So thank you very much, Irina Wiener. Thank you very much, Irina Alexandrovna. She is always with us. And Yulia and Irina are now working the same in the same training center. Yes, I am deeply grateful to her for everything. I would also not become an Olympic champion without her. Yes, now we've discussed the past and present, and if we talk about the future, what future lies ahead for the rhythmic gymnastics? We would like to have more interesting and more difficult elements so that there would be beautiful performances, beautiful routines, so that they would have interesting work with apparatus as well. Now we'll have girls competing in clubs. They say that club routine is a very treacherous one. It's a very difficult one. It's dynamic. One club weighs 140 grams. If it hits your head when it falls down, it's going to be painful. One time it hit my eye and I cut my eyebrow. I had a black eye, but unfortunately things happen. You can handle it. It's difficult, it's complex, but all the apparatuses are difficult. Hoop, jumping rope, club, but those who do it all win. There are 2 clubs, and I was lucky that there were no clubs in Sydney because it's my least favorite apparatus. They always scattered around me. We'll take a look at what's going to happen today on this mat. We're going to let's explain the criteria for scoring the clubs. Thank you very much. Clubs, material, plastic. They weigh 150 grams, length from 40 to 50 centimeters. Every routine with clubs has to have body difficulty elements and apparatus elements, risks, dynamic elements with rotation, apparatus difficulties, dance steps. Club routines are predominantly on balances. They have to amount 50% of all the body difficulties. The final scores for this routine is done by combining difficulty of body, artistry and execution. Maximum number of body elements and apparatus elements is not limited at the Divine Grace tournament. Dear ladies and gentlemen, we invite to the mat our first contestant of the second day of our tournament, Karina Kamenetskaya, Canada.
Please welcome the first participants of the second
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first International Experimental Rhythmic Gymnastics Tournament, Divine Grace. Yesterday we had a very interesting day of competition. Today is the second day. Girls will compete in club routine and ribbon routines, and I would like still to introduce my comments on experts, silver medalist of Atlanta Olympic Games 1996, 5-time World Championship now a beautiful TV host, Yana Batyrshina, and distinguished Master of Sports and coach of Russia, and World Cup winner with us. Also, we have with us distinguished Master of Sports, 2-time Europe champion in sport gymnastics, Ilmin Garipov, Hello, good day to you, dear ladies and gentlemen. We see that the competition has already started. First contestant represents Canada, and I'll remind you that after the first two routines, she scored 11th out of 13 contestants. Karina Kamenetskaya. I'll remind you that she is 14 years of age. Her coach is Kira Protasova. It's clear that Karina, was born in the family of Soviet immigrants. Her father is from Moldavia and her mother is from Belarus. Yesterday's day of competition ended with the following results. Laura Kramarenko takes the lead with 71.95 with a huge lead over all the other contestants. Anna Kamichikova from Belarus is second, but she's lagging behind by 7 points. And third spot is now taken by Ketavana Rabishvili from Georgia. She has 62.05. And we remind you that it's an individual all around, and there are two more apparatuses routines to perform for our contestants. Karina Kamenetskaya. We've seen the opening of this day with a difficult hoop routine. Alina Kabayeva and Yulia told us that it's a very dangerous part. She was able to handle it well. Karina didn't lose the apparatus. There is her coach sitting next to her. We see that the tournament mascot is a star, and it's true because all the young girls, all the young athletes here are indeed stars. Stars who in the future will shine brightly and represent their countries at Olympic Games in 2024. Kira Protasova, by the way, has her own video blog, coach of Karina. She does various blogs there, and now I understand this story with online tournament and online lessons is very relevant. I know that there were even online championships. It was very relevant during the time of pandemic when they were all sitting at home in lockdown. And of course, gymnasts need competition, they need tournaments, they need to understand why and how does it happen to put on the unitard to get the most. Of course, we started to conduct these online competitions in these big international tournaments.
Please welcome Sofia Bernard from Hungary.
Karina's performance is not scored that high. Well, for club routine, I think that it's a very good beginning. There were no severe mistakes. Now let's take a look at how the judges will score this performance. Sofia Bernard is getting ready to perform. She's 15. She's a junior athlete. Her coach is Inga Mazas. Sofia was born in Budapest, but her mother is also a coach, Lyubov Alexandrova. It's very difficult to be coached by your mother, isn't it? Well, frankly speaking, I was jealous from time to time to the gymnasts who had their mothers as coaches. We have here Olympic champion Ekaterina Serebranskaya present, Olympic champion of 1996. She was coached by her mother and coach, Botteghi and Serebranskaya, and of course, witnessing this duo of mother and daughter was always a pleasure. Everything was very calm and understanding. There were these mother-daughter relationships, and back in my time there was Elena Vitrichenko, who was also coached by her mom, Mikhailina Vitrichenko, bronze medalist of the Olympics, and she's also with us here with her daughter in this hall with Aurora, who is also in rhythmic gymnastics. So, in general, it's not a rare occasion, but taking into account that rhythmic gymnastics, just as any other sports, requiring maximum dedication and discipline, and then I think that it might be hard a little bit with your mom to be a little bit lazy. It's going to be hard to get some leeway. Yes, that is what I was thinking. On the one hand, it's really good, but on the other hand, sometimes there are moments, difficulties, and I was thinking that this could help me in some way. Yes, Sofia Bernard's performance is over. while we're waiting for the scores, we can wait for the rules for this experimental tournament, so that we can score these routines at a more expert level. This tournament is experimental in all of its facets. The way of conducting these tournaments, an incredible sport show that demonstrates all all sides of rhythmic gymnastics, and the rules that are used here are also different from the general rules. So it is indeed an experiment. The body difficulties performed by gymnasts during the routine are judged following the code of points of 2001-2005, and there are differences because the number of these difficulties is unlimited, not only single but also sequence. We know that the existing rules limit the number of difficulties and apparatus that the gymnast performs here. The gymnasts have the right, along with their coaches, along with the choreographers, to select the very best that they are capable of, to demonstrate incredible, not only in terms of the number, but also in terms of quality, to show the suit and the performances. 30.95. A very good score. A very good score. We see Sofia gets 30.95.
Please welcome Nicole.
The club routine is the hardest one. Yes, it is true indeed. Well, to each their own. For some, the jumping rope might be the hardest apparatus. So but now it's not present in senior competitions. But to me, club was the most difficult apparatus. It is indeed true. Nicole Krasiuk is on the match. She is 17. Her coach is Yulia Trushkevich. Well, of course, when we speak about Ukrainian gymnasts, we need to remember about the Derugina dynasty, because of course they all, Yulia Trushkevich and other coaches, they all help. Albina Ivanovna Derugina, Irina Derugina. This is a famous dynasty, a mother and a daughter. We now also spoke about this. Albina Nikolaevna was coaching her daughter. She was able to raise a world champion, Irina Derugina, and now the Derugina family school are our main rivals. Yesterday, Nicole ended her performance with a hoop and ball. Well, quite well. Right now she is 6th in the overall tournament score. She has 59.7 points. Let's hope that she'll do better with clubs. Nicole is a young gymnast. She is 17 years old. And once again, if we get back to our Olympic champions who opened up the tournament here, and yesterday we had an amazing flash mob when all the Olympic champions took part in it. Alexandra Timoshenko is also an Olympic champion, a student of Derugina Gymnastics School. She scored Olympic medal of 1992 in Barcelona. Yesterday's flash mob was amazing, an incredible conclusion to our broadcast. Here there was one loss of club. Yes, that is what we say. The apparatus is very treacherous. First thing, there are two of them, and we have throws and clubs, and small and big, and we had some mistakes. It was really hard to catch it. It is really hard, and it's not very level. The center of gravity is displaced here, so on the one hand it's quite complex, but the apparatus is very dynamic. It's very difficult, different rotations, various throws, and of course it deserves the attention and it takes its deserved place in the apparatus. Besides the loss of apparatus, there were also some bad rotations, and now they are considered to be severe mistakes.
Общая оценка Николь Красюк, Украины, 28,95 балла. The total score for Nicole Krasuk, Ukraine, 28.95.
Mistakes that are penalized. Yes, and we can see that Nicole
Приглашается Мартина Брамбилла, Италия. Please welcome Martina Brambilla, Italy.
Not only the complexities and difficulties, but also the artistry, the execution, and also is a violation when we don't stick to the structure of the performance. Yes, Krasuk got lots of penalties. Now we have Italian gymnast Martina Brambilla on the match. She's 19 years old. She's a member of the Italian national team, and after 2 apparatus, she's now 9th in the overall tournament rankings. And yesterday she had the loss of apparatus when she did the whole routine. She got not a lot of points for that, although she showed really good routine with the hook.
That was a loss as well. Well, she was nervous for sure, because yesterday her performance was much more interesting, much more spectacular. She's actually a very emotional athlete, but we will wish her all the best luck. It is not finished yet, and she must continue. Well, now the coach is approaching. Yes, we would like to remind that the Italian school is a very strong one, especially in team all around. So, and individuals as well. They often take medals in biggest contests, like in a world championship, for example. And that's great. The sports is developing in Italy, and of course we get some new rivals. But that's great. That's great. That makes our sports more popular. But the judges they also are preparing the score, so it's 29-95.
Rosa Abitova, Kazakhstan. Please welcome Rosa Abitova.
Rosa Abitova is the next. We hope that today she's will be a little bit better today than yesterday, because yesterday she was losing apparatus a lot. So I really wished her yesterday just to forget all those mistakes and to start from tabula rasa again. So, and her coach, the main coach of the Kazakhstan national team, hopefully has helped her to overcome her yesterday's mistakes. She did a risk element, a dynamic pivot, but the step was a little bit too big to catch the club. But this could also bring a reduction of the score. But you see that the trajectory of the flight of the apparatus was not right, so she had to make an additional step. You can just imagine how complicated it is, how how precise you have to be, the body work and the work with the apparatus, and it also should be connected with the music. So she also must make a show, must make a nice impression and be emotional. Yes, of course. These performances are performances for real. It's a show. It's especially club routines when you're rotating with one hand and simultaneously you're throwing and catching another club with another hand and you do not see it. I would like to remind everybody that the club routines, the main body group are balance elements. Oh, that was at the very end again, as well as with the ball yesterday. Yes, she just finishes her performance earlier than it really finishes. Those are sad and silly mistakes. This happens when you have already decided that you have already done everything. You must be absolutely concentrated till the very end, till the last second of the performance. Just before you sit on that couch in the kiss and cry zone, you cannot relax. You must be inside of the routine. Unfortunately, that happens, yes. And this comes only with experience. Rosa is 18. She's in her prime, so to say. So she should overcome this mistake and this element. Also, Lina did it, and Alia Yusupova did it. That those are so special elements. It's unbelievable. How can you do that? How can you even take that pose? And this at the very end, losing it. That's a pity, really. It's such a sad mistake and such a grave mistake. Unfortunately, she loses 1 point for that. And still, this is her highest score by now for all 3 routines. Natalia Usova is now on the mat, and she is representing Uzbekistan. She's the youngest athlete in our tournament. She's 13, a very nice athlete. And she really impressed us yesterday, and we really see her great potential. She can do a lot already and demonstrates a lot, and we see how easily she does it. And her musical choice is nice as well. Yes, how we, with our national team, how we loved the Spice Girls and how we enjoyed that music in the mid-90s. Okay, that was a balance element. Yes. And her work with the apparatus during the element is also important. 3 leaps. In this tournament, it's a series. It brings additional bonuses when you make an element from the body group. It's like you get 0.10 for that. I would like also to remind you that combined elements that are put together from several isolated difficulties are not limited in our tournament. So the athletes do here a lot more elements, body elements and difficulties, so they can choose what they want to show, the best they can do. And this is what makes our tournament so interesting, that it is not limited. They can just choose what they do and how they perform. And they can also... So everybody does what she does, what she can, according to her power, to her possibilities. But it's 1 minute 15 or till 1 minute 30. the length of routines, so it was not an easy task to get prepared to this tournament. But Natalia looks quite happy, and her coach hugged her, Nasiba Halikova. She is also quite happy with the performance. We're waiting for the score. Of course, there were some minor problems, but you can really see her great potential. And she also is holding the clubs in the middle, but that's not specific for the club. It's actually there are really very serious, very important rules how you hold the clubs, etc. But she got quite a nice score.
Please welcome Alexandra Kiroi-Bogatyryeva.
Big difficulty of the composition and lack of mistakes brings a good result. So Alexandra Kiroi-Bogatyryeva is now getting ready to perform from Australia. And here as well, she kind of reached for the second club. Yes, I would like to remind you that since July of this year, Alessandra is in Moscow because she cannot return home because of the pandemic, because we closed borders. And it is well known that in Australia, unlike Russian school, they just have to pay for everything. It's like 99% of expenses should be carried for living in the base, for training, for everything. Unlike our athletes, and this is actually, I think, it's the best condition. Nobody has conditions like we have it here. Our national team, because these are the best training facilities. They have the possibilities to train all around the year. So our state really supports us a lot. All the equipment, all medical stuff, it's just great screens in the hall, so you can see. It's really just great conditions, and this is what helps us to perform and to bring such great results. This is just great for the athlete. You don't have to think about anything. You just think about performing, about training, about competing, and all the other things are thought about by coaches, by massageists, by medics. So the athletes don't think about where do they get the outfits, where do they get money to get a ticket to the plane, etc., etc. She just thinks about one course, about the right course, yes, about training, about making sport. So I'm absolutely sure that this is the reason for the great results that our gymnasts are demonstrating. And actually, Irina Alexandrovna, our coach, is not only the head coach, but she is also the president of the federation. And she kind of connected all the best specialists. So that's what makes the conditions so great and the results just superb. 30.25 Alexandra gets for her routine, and that's a nice result, I should say. So it is actually her best score by now, so far. And now we see Anna Kamenshikova from Belarus, and she's actually the second so far. After two routines with two apparatus. She's very emotional. She's quite spectacular. I like her smile. And the music, her music choice is great as well. Yes, those dancing motifs, they are always nice to hear. I have the impression that unlike the treachery of the clubs, but they are much more self-sure here on the mat. I think that yesterday they were quite nervous. It was not easy to get prepared for this competition, to prepare new programs. So they really should get all the support from the audience that they could get. The routine should be all a dancing performance, not only during this dance walk, but actually all the routine according to the new rules. Just take a look. The whole routine is musical. It must be connected to the music. Even when she throws the apparatus, she continues to dance. And Alina is quite happy, you see. Yes, I really like this routine. It's complicated, it's emotional. She was absolutely inside of this music, of this image. Yes, and her smile. Well, it's quite obvious that it's not easy to keep that smile, because you have to synchronize in your head everything, the apparatus and your body, but you have to keep smiling, and that makes a great impression on myself as well. When you see that it looks as if that would be easy for them, but actually no. We know how much time they spend training and getting prepared and learning those elements. This is incredible hard work. It's really you must bring every element to the level of when you do it automatically. So the score. That's a nice score, 32-35.
Please welcome Kativan Arbolishvili, Georgia.
The ninth participant of our tournament, Divine Grace, is a representative of Georgia, Kativan Arbolishvili. She's the third in the rankings after yesterday performances. Well, she has nice potential to climb the pedestal today. Yes, she is very, very impressive and very emotional. Actually, Georgian athletes are always very emotional, some very special combinations of movements and interesting outfits. So you see the Georgian school as well at once. Well, that's also a very, very nice performance. Yes, we just saw a number of combined elements from different groups of the body. I would like her to stretch her hands a little bit. Yes, that was the dance walk. Well, it's quite original, for sure. Yes, there must be dance steps that are emphasizing the character of the music. Well, I thought she was a little bit too late for the end of the music, right? Well, yes, she managed it, but she was a little bit in a hurry. I can agree. And probably there was some other final. Probably she had to finish earlier just because she didn't manage. Because for every additional second without music, there is also a reduction. So, and actually, when you finish without music, it's reduction, but also for artistry, but also the element that she does without music is not scored anymore. So if she threw and then she caught the club too late, it will not be added. But I would like to remind you that Ketevan is very experienced. She participated in world championships and Europe championships, and she's the champion of Georgia of this year in all around. But she's actually the best athlete, the best gymnast of Georgia. Yes, we have here all participants of Tokyo Olympics. Here we see our mascots, the two stars. Okay, so we see the coach, Tamar Kavaladze, 31:15 for this club routine. And this is the highest. Oh no, not. That's actually we had 32. Yeah. Sorry, that was a mistake. But this is quite near to the best. Okay, that's a great result anyway. So, and she was the third actually after two apparatus. So she just has approximately the same score for every apparatus. And here we have the Cuban athlete, 21 years old, but I would say she looks as if she were 15. She looks so young. But actually she is 21 and she's part of the national team. She's multiple champion of Cuba. In individual all-around, she also participated in the World Championship. She has a lot of titles. She is the champion of Central America and of the Caribbean. That's also an interesting musical choice, right? It's from The Mask film. Oh, that was not good. No, she didn't do some element below the throw. I don't know what will be. Well, that element anyway will not be calculated, and that was supposed to be quite an expensive element. So probably. Also, she did more than 2 steps below the club. Well, that's not 0.5 for the execution and probably for the artistry as well, because there was it was a logical transition, right? But Gradle she has an interesting history of the way she came to the sports. She started when she was 5, and she always was walking with her mom along a gymnastics hall. So one day she just came there to watch, and she remained there. And there is her coach, and she looks quite happy with this performance. She supports her student, and I can tell for sure that's her best performance so far, because yesterday there were some losses. So probably that was connected with complicated roads and this journey and the jet lag and climate and etc. You just imagine when you're flying from Cuba to Code Moscow. I cannot imagine. Probably she saw snow for the first time. You could imagine even that. So today she looks quite more sure. Unfortunately, there were some mistakes.
Well,
the score is not quite high, 25.7. But it's a little bit better than what she showed yesterday.
Please welcome Pia Kovacic from Croatia.
Yesterday was she the 12th, and for today she's the 10th. And now comes Pia Kovacic. She's 14. She's a junior, so very young. She's training with a Russian coach, Anna Basich. and as well in the club where she's training, the Galatea club. The president of that club is Jelena Basic, is Anna's sister. It's her mother, of course. Yes, there's another dynasty. And Jelena Basic is the trainer of our world champion. Well, I would like to remind you that Pia has been training for 5 years. She's actually the gymnast who started when she was 9. That was quite late. For this sports, for professional sports as well, as such, but for gymnastics especially. And we can see that she has great potential, but there are also a lot of things she could work on. But so to say, if you work properly, you will manage everything. Yes, she has great. She's very gifted, but you can see that she just doesn't have the experience you need to become a great gymnast. But we know that she has a lot of talents, a lot of hobbies, and the most important thing is that she really wants to, and she's so hardworking. So she just has all the possibilities. Yes, we saw the first Olympic champion on our screens now, and now we saw that Pia was also quite in a hurry, and she finished not the way she was supposed to, probably. Yes, but Pia is performing in different tournaments very actively because she just needs. Yeah, that was a loss. That was a pity because she just didn't connect the clubs properly. Well, there were no so clubs in my time, but now they make these clubs that when you can connect the one side of the club into the other. At my time, it was impossible to do that because there were no such clubs. So how did you do that? Did you have to hold it with your hand? Yes, we just didn't do such elements because that was impossible. Yes, it was just impossible to do that. So there were different elements. It's just like in sports gymnastics, also some equipment gets modernized, so now you can do different things, different combinations of elements, some much more complicated. So here probably as well the apparatus gets some modernization, just make it more comfortable for the sports women. Well, of course, everything is developing. Now we see the Mexican athlete, the most experienced athlete, the eldest in our tournament. She's 21. She's a triple champion of Central America and the Caribbean. She's a vice champion of Pan American tournament, and she participated in 4 world championships, so she's a very experienced, a very strong athlete. We can see how self-certain she is. Well, she's now in the 5th position after 2 routines yesterday, but still she's not so far behind the 3rd position, for example, it's like 2 points. So she will try to keep up with it. A very original combination that she had. Is it true that when they changed the old regulations, when there were the old regulations, the gymnasts had more possibility to show their grace, their body possibilities? Yes, well, actually the regulations are changed every Olympic cycle, so something new comes every time, but unfortunately there was not so so much regulations to the apparatus, but probably that's why a lot of important combinations just they are not used anymore. It's because the body elements with such great amplitude that Alina used to do, and Jana and all other stars, actually our gymnasts always try to perform those elements, because that's the way to show your proficiency in the artistry. So of course, according to the new regulations, they just started to perform the elements that they could fit into the routine. That's a little bit more like circus, right? Yes, but I think that our regulations we have here in our tournament just helps the gymnasts to perform in the best way, to demonstrate everything they can do, because the apparatus is so different. So there is different body difficulty coming with every apparatus. So yesterday it was more like flexibility. It's a pity we don't have the jumping rope, because there were the jumps, some important elements, but we do hope that our experimental tournament will become more traditional, and there will be experiments not only with the elements but with apparatus as well, and we will see the rope again. Well, yes, yesterday when the organizers, when Alina was here with us, she said that she hopes that this tournament will become every year, and so and what she said about the rope also make me very hopeful. I do really hope that also the TV format will support this approach in some way. Marina is holding her belly in the way. Probably she got a little bit traumatized, but I just hope that she's fine. 35-15. It's a great score. And now we see how everybody is shouting la 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 la, because she's the next one to perform is our Russian athlete, our hope, and the leader of the tournament. Amazing, unique athlete, Lala Kramarenko. She's 17 and she's the real hope for the whole Olympic season. She's from Baku. In 2012, she moved to Russia with her parents, and so she started to train in Azerbaijan. But I should say that Russia needs such athletes. So she could probably perform for Azerbaijan, but now she is in Russia. It's phenomenal. I don't know how is that even possible. It's like there is something rotating below her leg. So now she did a very complicated element. So in the new regulations for the new Olympic cycle, this element will be called with her name. Oh wow. That was so complicated. And she's throwing so high. It's just unbelievable what she does. It's unexplainable. Of course, when you look at that unprofessionally, it's just, you cannot understand how it is even possible.
Bravo. It was a very bright, eccentric, energetic performance, very difficult body elements, a unique athlete in combination with these high throats and the difficulty of the apparatus, how easily she makes it look. I'll once again repeat that we want to see this kind of gymnastics. We're all shocked by the gymnastics that she shows. We see Irina Alexandrovna Vina Rusmanova. Of course, Irina Alexandrovna spends a lot of time in training with me and Lala from early morning in fantastic specialists and an amazing coach who was able to train so many Olympic champions, and from me I can add 37.4 she gets. We now hear this 37.4, an amazing score. You see that Rinatana shows no emotion on her face, but I'm sure that she's happy and pleased. And now we have the next routine that will start soon. Of course, Lala Kramarenko has more than a 10-point lead. She's first, Anna Kamenchikova is second, and Ketevana Arbalishvili is third.
Вторая строчка. И Российская Федерация. Первое место. Есть в художественной гимнастике и еще один предмет.